Hey, good afternoon. This is Bob from Trade Genius. And today in the news, the Department of Justice has now started a criminal action for potential indictment of the generic drug companies in terms of price collusion. And I think this is just a symptom of what we're going to see in the future with because of healthcare. Excuse me. And so we have right now, healthcare is 20% of GDP. And it is basically becoming a cancer for the rest of the economy. And I'm going to walk you through an example that's just going to blow you away here in a couple minutes. But, right now, if you look at the economy, about 90 million people are employed in the private sector. And, we have 65% employment to population. And about 16 to 20% of the people are in the government. And of the population that's employed, that's not in government, 70% are in services. And services in general are really nice to have versus have to have stuff. And so you're talking 60 to 80 million people are in jobs that are things that you'd like to have, but you don't have to survive. And that's where I'm focusing right now. I mean, if they don't get their hands around healthcare here in the next, 12 to 18 months, that we're going to be looking at an additional 30% of the population potentially at risk of unemployment. And I'm not trying to be, hyperbole on this. It's just simple math. And I'm going to just walk you through an example. In California, if you're a family of four, $1,000 a year is that you have zero discretionary income. And that's not including if you're holding any debt other than a mortgage or auto. And let's just walk through the numbers together. So, 100,000, let's just call it 8,000 a month for some easy math. You're going to pay nearly $1,600 a month in taxes. You're talking federal, you're talking state, you're talking FICA. Then you're going to be spending nearly $1,000 a month on your portion of healthcare and your out-of-pocket costs. And these are numbers I looked up for 2016. So 2017 are probably even worse. The average family of four to rent a place of in your income bracket, you're looking at $3,000 a month to rent and probably $3,000 a month mortgage. And then you have an additional $500 to $600 a month just on living expenses for the home or the apartment. And then you have $1,000 a month that you're spending on food for your family of four. And you're spending $1,000 a month on just getting to and back and forth from work. And I just spent all your money. So now you have no money to go out to eat. You have no money to do something with your kid. They can't go to camp. You can't take a vacation. And you're not going to go to the tanning salon. You're not going to go to the chiropractor. You're not going to, you pick it. You just drive down the road and look at you're not buying furniture. Christmas is going to be pretty anemic. And it's just no surprise to me that you see everything rolling over. And I'm just blown away that CEOs that are in this business in the service economy are not screaming about this. And it's not a question of, hey, do we need single payer now? Is that the insurance companies in collusion with our government just basically put no market controls over the healthcare expenditures that we have to pay. They make us buy it. They let us not opt out of it. They accept all prices given to them. We subsidize the world, in Europe and in Canada and in Asia, those guys can only mark up a certain percentage of their actual hard costs. We absorb all the R&D in this country and we have to pay for it, and it's allowed. And so, our own government is working against us, and it's just going to get worse. And so unless they get their arms around this and actually drop the cost of healthcare per person, if you're in an industry that is not absolutely create it for your survival, your job's at risk. And it's just going to roll everything over. And I think the government is figuring it out. I know the people have figured it out. There's no accident why Trump is doing as good as he's doing. People may hate the guy, but they know the person they're putting in charge wants to do even more of this stuff. And then we're just importing more and more poor people in this country. And before anybody called me a racist, I have Hispanic relatives, including my own daughter. So, that's not the issue. The issue is importing 7 to 10 million poor people into the country that automatically go on our healthcare system for free. And other people have to pay for it. And we can't even barely afford to pay for it. And then you're told that you're a racist if you're against that. So I think people are really chafing at this. So California, unless you make over $150,000 a year, you're screwed. You have no discretionary income. And unless you make it under $50,000 a year, you don't have to pay for anything. Your life's already miserable. And then you could buy a few things. So I'm just telling you this because it's just going to get really, really bad. And, for us that we have to look at the market going forward is that the most vulnerable areas of the market are, right now for me is absolutely is going to be real estate. You're starting to see it roll over. The Federal Reserve is on some sort of suicide mission if they're going to raise rates. And, I don't really know if people really believe the story they're telling anymore. But if they raise rates, that means all the homes that are that people have to refinance the mortgage or on adjustable mortgages, or they have cost to calculate in terms of the affordability index. All that just makes those assets worth less, and then they just keep pushing rates up for rents that people are just getting squeezed both ways. And so I think real estate's in big trouble. If you look at healthcare, you look at Amazon, you look at the economy, you look at the squeeze that everybody's on. I wouldn't want to be a holder of commercial real estate. And if they raise rates, that just makes it more expensive. So that's one of our big trades that we're already in it. And so we're going to be short in real estate as often as we get an overbought condition and ride this thing down. And just for a point of reference, in 2007, 2008, into 2009, the real estate short funds that we are looking at here gone up 6 times at 600%. And you're going to need those kind of returns because the rest of your portfolio is going to be down 30 to 50% when this thing's all over. And I don't think there's anything they can do about it at this point anymore. If Trump wins, we're going to have all kinds of wars with the elites trying to stymie him, and they're going to try to make the economy really bad. If Hillary wins, we're going to be just in a constant state of Congress, and they're going to investigate everything. And the progressives, they only know one tool, and that tool is already proven not to work. So it's going to be really interesting. And you think this is a pretty depressing thing? Yeah, I want to scare you. You need to protect your family now. And I was looking and I said, hey, maybe gold and silver might be the way to go. But if we're going to have a 2007 to 2009 kind of a liquidation event, which is very, very, very possible, I would say more probable, is that pretty much everything goes down. And so you're going to want to be in things that are going to benefit you by being short. And so real estate's the most vulnerable. And so that's my tip for today. Go out and check my videos tonight, and you'll see me starting to talk about it. And so we have some real estate plays that are good for you to be part of. And and we're still strong on the ags because it's outside the Fed's control. And that's the other thing. If food prices go up the way we think they're going to go up over the next 2 years, coupled with discretionary income collapsing, coupled with an economy, falling down, it's going to be a really interesting time for us. God help us all. So anyways, Bob from Trade Genius, sorry for the somber note, but, I think you really, really, really need to pay attention. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.